Hello everyone and welcome to A Slice of My Life. This video is all about the Oknife Zilla. I'd like to give Olight a huge shout out for sending this my way. It was a really truly pleasant surprise. I wasn't expecting Olight to send me a knife to review, guys. Olight typically sends me flashlight or light related products to take a look at, but this time it is a folding pocket knife. Thank you once again Olight for sending this my way, allowing me to spend time with it and to review it and to be able to share with all of the viewers my honest opinions. Now, I received the Zilla about a week ago, but I have to be honest and say that I have not EDC'd the Zilla on me. I have used it, I've been using it quite a lot, almost every day in fact, but in terms of actually carrying it, I didn't carry it out. And the reason for that is, well, because I haven't actually been EDCing any folding pocket knives at all recently in Singapore. And well, it pains me to say this, but there has been a string of knife related incidents, I'm just gonna call it incidents, that have been reported in the news, being shared on social media platforms and things like that, and it's casting a really bad light in terms of knives in general. So yeah, in order for me to avoid any particular sort of tricky or sticky situation, I've decided that I'm gonna kind of lay low and not carry a folding pocket knife with me on my EDC everywhere I go, guys. So it's kind of like, yeah, I've changed in that aspect, so I seek your understanding. But I gotta say that this has been right next to me at my desk. So this is the one folding pocket knife that I will reach out for whenever I have any cutting tasks to do. Now, I have of course put it in my pocket. I wanted to experience it as much as possible, but in terms of carrying out of the house, no, I did not. So yeah, let me just be fully transparent with you guys and share that. Yeah, before I jump into the review proper, I want to share with you guys information about the anniversary sales that Olight is running. This month, guys, the month of April, marks Olight's 15th anniversary. It's been 15 years. Wow, congratulations Olight. Olight is running an anniversary sale. Now you can expect up to 40% discounts off, and this anniversary sale is running from 8 PM on the 21st of April, and it will be running till 10 AM on the 26th of April 2022. Make sure you check out the awesome discounts available as well as some really cool bundles. Links to the Olight Singapore and Malaysia store will be in the description box down below. I'll also put a link to where you can find more details about the 15th anniversary sale. Now, for full transparency, guys, I am an Olight affiliate. You guys know that already, but the link in the description box down below is my affiliate link, and any purchases made by you guys using my affiliate link grants me a small kickback at no additional cost to you guys, and that also lets Olight know that I sent you. Now back to the main point of the video, and that is the Zilla right here. Let's start with a pseudo unboxing, and we have the box here. I love the fact that this image here is the exact 1:1 size of the physical Zilla, guys. That's actually pretty darn cool. Anyway, this is very trademark Olight treatment, even though it is Oknife branded. So from here on out, throughout this entire video, I might interchange between Oknife or Olight. One thing I really have to mention about this Zilla font, and I'm mentioning this because, yeah, this Zilla font or the Zilla logo is also featured laser etched on the blade. And guys, personally, alright, from a design perspective, I am not a fan of this font. I don't know how many of you guys will recognize this font, and I might be giving my age away here, but this is the Batman Forever font. If you guys have watched Batman Forever, you'll know that, yeah, it's a train wreck of a movie, but this is that Batman Forever font, and I don't think it looks good. Overall, it's just a personal thing. I don't like this Zilla font, and yeah, I wish that it wasn't laser etched into the knife here. So yeah, I don't know, guys, that's just my opinion. Okay, so back to the box. Moving on to the side, you have this treatment on the back. There is this treatment here, and in the top corner here is the silhouette of the Zilla as well as the steel being used. Yes, it's a solid 154 cm stainless steel blade. I like the steel a lot, and the other side is like that. So yes, this is one of the rare times when it's actually a slide out box, and then you'll be greeted with this. So you're just gonna flip up this tab here to lift up this, and on the underside you'll see a thank you note. You'll have this carrying pouch, which is really cool, and then you have some accessories sitting on the bottom here. Let me just get the accessories part out, and we'll take a look at the accessories here. So cleaning cloth, microfiber. Almost all knives that you purchase should have a cleaning cloth as well, but what a lot of knives don't have is an instruction manual. So they're treating this like any other Olight product. You have the exact same style of a user manual or instruction manual, and well, it tells you how to deploy and move the lock bar in case you want to close up the knife. And the cleaning cloth here, well, it's just your standard run-of-the-mill kind of cleaning cloth, and it does have an Oknife logo printed on. Nice touch. That's a cleaning cloth. But what I find really cool is this carrying case or knife pouch. that the Zilla comes in. Of course, I've taken it out, guys. You know, I've already used it for the past week. So we've got the Oknife logo, very nicely embroidered here. The embroidery isn't the cleanest, I have to say. You could see that it is kind of warped a little bit here and there, and with just a Velcro clasp closure. And now that I've opened it up, and you've got this thin little plastic bag, this is the plastic bag that the knife came in, and the knife would be arriving to you seated in this pouch, just like that. So the pouch itself is lined with felt. I think this is kind of like a felt layer, so that prevents any kind of scuffing on the actual knife, you know, the scales and all that. So that's a really nice touch. But in here is another small little extra thing that I found really cool that doesn't come with a lot of other knives, and this is an actual brass coin, guys. Now I can't touch this, so I'm gonna just try. I'm just gonna plonk it down on the mat here. Alright, so this is what the coin looks like. If I have to zoom in, I'll zoom in. Let me just use this plastic so I can handle it, because you guys know I'm allergic to brass and copper. My skin will swell if I come into physical contact with it. So here we go. Very nice details on this coin here. It says Zilla up there in that ugly font, but it's got a cool chameleon on the Zilla knife. You've got some leaves in the background. It says Oknife folding pocket knife, and let me see if I can flip this over. You know what? I should use the microfiber cloth. So here we go. Let me flip this over here, and on the back of the coin it says Outdoor Elite Oknife. The details on this coin here is very well done. Very intricate details, man. I really hate that font, by the way, that Outdoor Elite. That is still that's still the Batman Forever font. But you know, guys, this is personal opinion, personal tastes. I think that it's really nice that Olight actually included this with the purchase. I think it really ups the value of the entire package overall. So yeah, nice pouch, and it's rare to find a pouch with an extra slot in the corner like that to house a little coin. Now guys, on to the knife itself. Overall, I will say that my impressions of the Zilla is surprisingly good. The biggest surprise, honestly, is the overall design of this particular knife. Let me bring in the other Olight knife that I have, and that is the Olight Splint. Generally, so far, the knives that Olight have put out are in this sort of either a clip point or a drop point style, and you could see the overall size and shape. It is a bit more sleek, something a little bit more narrow. Even the blade itself is a bit more narrow to match the handle. But in the case of the Zilla, this is a chonky boy. I was not expecting Olight to put out such a chonker of a knife. And now that I've got the knife deployed, let me spend a moment to talk about the materials and some of the construction or the fit and finish of the Zilla. Now, of course, the Zilla features G10 scales. It is a liner lock, so G10 scales on both sides, and you can see the steel liners on the inside here, and you've got a stainless steel lock bar. Now on the show side, the cutout here is more recessed to allow for an easier access to that lock bar, and I really love that they added this feature here. So yes guys, G10 liners. Now let's talk about the pocket clip. This is a deep carry pocket clip, just like that. And I'm happy to say that the pocket clip is a reversible pocket clip. You can choose to install the pocket clip on the left side for left hand carry if you want to, but I'm gonna stick to the right side. It is only, however, in the tip up configuration. There are no slots for tip down pocket carry, but I'm not gonna complain about that because personally I like my pocket clips in this exact orientation, right side tip up carry. It is not a true full deep carry though. You'll see a small bit of the Zilla peeking out in your pocket. And one of the downsides, I'll just say it right now since we're talking about the pocket clip, is that when you want to, if ever, open up the knife and disassemble it, you're going to have to remove the pocket clip first, because the pocket clip is potentially blocking one of the screws on the scale. I mean, if you're lucky, you could just undo it on one side, but most of the time, you know, when you disassemble your knives, you're gonna have to go at it from both sides. So yeah, you're gonna have to remove that pocket clip. Talking about screws, the Zilla uses T8 Torx screws for the scale and T6 Torx screws for the pocket clip. And now going back to the general pocket clip area, there is a slot for any lanyards in case you guys want to tie a lanyard to your Zilla, and it features the use of two standoffs here in black as well. So all of the hardware that you can see is all in black. The pocket clips in black, all screws are in black, standoffs are in black. Now moving up here, the blade features a flipper tab, and this flipper tab, when you look at it just like that, because of the finishing here, there is a rubbed finish or a brushed finish, I should say. It looks like as if this is gonna be a bit rough, but boy oh boy am I surprised. This is not rough at all. This is actually very slightly rounded, so it is smooth to the touch, guys. It's not going to scrape off any skin, it's not going to bite you. And for the jimping on the flipper tab, it's just 2 slots or 2 grooves, but it offers more than enough grip that you need to deploy the knife. And you guys saw it deploys with a very nice, strong authority. So once again, guys, let me just kind of do that for you. Oh, by the way, yeah, it's drop shut, guys. I've not opened this. I've not cleaned it up. This is still in stock form after being used for about a week, guys. That action, solid action. Now, before I talk about the blade, let's check out the blade centering, and I have to say that blade centering is actually pretty spot on. No complaints there whatsoever. Olight did well on this knife. So with the knife deployed, I will say that there is no blade play and no lock rock at all. Lockup is a little bit far in for a stock knife in my opinion. It's going to almost the midpoint of the blade. Now it features a sharpening choil here, but I wish it was a forward choil, and we'll talk about that when we get into the ergonomics portion of the video. But going back to what I was saying, there is a sharpening choil here, which is always welcome, and the blade chip itself features a modified sheep's foot, and that's what Oknife is calling it, a modified sheep's foot. But my favorite design cue by far is the fact that this blade features the harpoon style blade shape. I really love the harpoon shape up here, and it's got a very nice swedge up top as well. I absolutely love it. It looks super aggressive, and I am a sucker for harpoon style blades. That's just my personal taste, guys. Now moving down, this features a flat grind. As you can see on both sides, it's a solid, well done flat grind. You got some brushing done as well for the finish, and you've got a very well done edge. This being 154 cm steel, it's not going to be tough to sharpen, although it does hold its edge very well, so you don't have to sharpen it very often. Another great feature about 154 cm steel is the fact that it is one of the stainless steel, so this is going to be very resistant to corrosion. But yeah, I love the fact that Oknife chose this steel. So let's talk about the detailing on the blade, all the laser etching and things like that. The blade steel is laser etched onto the top here on the short side of the blade, which is interesting. Generally, blade steels are on the lock side, and then you have the Oknife logo here. Now, I personally am not a fan of logos being featured, I mean, at least for this logo design, right, being featured on the blade itself. If, say, for example, it was just that O in the back, I think that would be a lot more elegant in terms of application. On the other side of the blade, you'll see some other laser engravings. The first one here is the Zilla logo that I'm not a fan of. I wish this wasn't even there in the first place. I don't think you actually need to put the name Zilla on the blade, because people will already know that this is the Zilla. But yeah, that's just my personal opinion. And you have the serialization here. This is serial number 0354. Now there is a word, like a small word before the serialization, and that word is gauge, and I don't know what that actually means. Gauge serial number 0354. But yeah, that's the overall aesthetic of this knife, and I will say that the action on this is very good. Now as I close up the knife, you'll see that it's just almost as good as a drop shut, and you hear that nice little click when the D10 ball locks the blade in place. I love that. Very authoritative. Now I'm going to quickly talk about the flipper tab. Now when you have the knife deployed, the flipper tab sits out here almost as an extension of this area of the scale itself, and I like that, although I think that it could have been done a little bit more sleek, but that's my personal opinion. But I love this part over here. I think this is really well thought out. This curvature here is really well done. When you close it up, I really like that it's curved like that, so it goes up here. So the design cues on this is actually quite spot on. Now let's talk about measurements. I'll put all the measurements on screen. This is a 3.5 inch blade. Not really my cup of tea. It's a little bit on the bigger side for me. My personal preference is any blade length of less than 3 inches. Now let's talk about the ergonomics, and while talking about that, let's also talk about my opinions while handling the Zilla. So the first thing I'll talk about is the scales, because this directly relates to the grip of the knife and the experience of handling the knife overall. The scales are done really well, and like I mentioned just now, these G10 scales are finished in a way that it features a really good amount of grip, but it is smooth where it needs to be smooth, and that is every single contour along the edges or the sides of the G10 scales. This is all finished very well. Now I love this contour in particular, and this recess area here, because this on the show side is recessed further than on the lock side, and this allows you easier access to the lock bar if you want to close up the knife. See that? I really love the thought being put into this, and this is actually executed very well. Now going back into that grip, the standard grip would be this way, right? And you could see that my index finger is just wrapping around this area of the scale, and my other 3 fingers are wrapped along this swooping curve here, and then my fingertips actually reach these grooves here. Look at that. This actually lines up with your fingers really well, and I'm super surprised at this design choice. I like it. I think it's well thought out and very, very well executed. So like I said, in this grip, it's very comfortable. It just peeks out a little bit at the back here. Now, there are some jimping here on the spine of the blade to allow your thumb to sit on, and I think this is okay. This grip will allow you to perform slightly more fine woodwork or more detailed work. But what I don't like is the fact that this sharpening choil isn't wide enough to be used as a forward finger choil. Now, I think this is a missed opportunity here by Oknife. If this was extended further out, it could be used really practically as a forward finger choil. Now, I'm gonna show you what happens when you try to use the sharpening choil as a forward finger choil. Yeah, this sharp part right at the end of the cutting edge here is going to bite into your index finger, right? And that is, in my opinion, a missed opportunity, because with a knife like this and a 3.5-inch blade, you'll want to be able to choke up on it up here like that. And by doing so, right, look at this area of the harpoon top. It allows your thumb to sit there. Now, if this here was a forward finger choil, this would have been way more comfortable to allow you to do some really super fine work. In the pointer grip though, I will say that in this way, in this configuration, the pointer grip is almost perfect for my index finger to sit up here, and that's really comfortable. Very, very cool feature. I guess this is just by luck of this harpoon shape here. But yeah, my finger just sits up there. Now in the reverse grip though, this is a little bit different, a little bit strange because of how deep this recess area here is. It makes me feel like I don't have much to grip under my pinky finger, which is a strange feeling, because most of the time when I grip my knives in the reverse grip, I actually feel a substantial amount of real estate under my pinky finger, and that gives me a bit more stability. But in this case, because of this area here, I don't get that. And this is one of the few times, or very, very rare times actually, that I've handled a knife where the blade or the bottom of the blade edge here sits lower than the bottom of the handle in the deployed mode. What I'm trying to say is, when you deploy a knife, say for example this, or say for example the Elementum, right? You'll notice at the bottom of the cutting edge here, like that, it's almost in line with the handle, right, with the scale itself. Now in the situation of the Zilla, I think this is a super good plus point, and this is what makes it, in my opinion, a really good food prep knife. And the reason why I'm mentioning food prep is because, well, if you grip the knife this way, right, you'll notice that there's a lot less clearance that you need for your knife to actually reach the surface that you're cutting on, right? So this, I mean, of course, yeah, there is a flipper tab here, but this really allows you to go a lot closer to the surface. Like if you rest your knuckles on a surface like that, it's easy for you to just kind of push down. So in my opinion, this makes for a really, really solid food prep knife. You could even balance it on the flipper tab there and just kind of press down like that. I think this is really cool. It has a very generous belly here and that kind of modified sheep's foot, versus say for example in a situation of a drop point blade, where in the Elementum, when you grip it like that, see how much further my knuckles are away from the bottom of the cutting edge here. So yeah, that's a case in point, and I think that's a big plus point to the Zilla overall. I think the ergonomics on this thing is really, really solid. Now at this point, I feel that it's only fair if I share my personal preferences. Now for those of you new to the channel, my favorite knife by far, hands down, of all time is the Spyderco Para 3. This is my favorite knife. So this is the optimal size in my opinion. It just works for me. Whether or not there is a belly on the scale or if it's a skinny scale, it just works very well. It's got a forward finger trowel and whatever. So this is, in my opinion, the one to beat for any kind of folding pocket knives. For me, it's a personal taste. Now compare that to the Zilla. I will say that the Zilla is not an unwieldy folding pocket knife. It's very comfortable to use. I'm really surprised at it. But in terms of, say for example, EDC, I think this is going to lose out for EDC because of the sheer size and the sheer weight of it. It's slightly bigger. For those of you who are used to 3.5-inch blades, then yeah, I don't think this is going to be a problem for you guys at all. This is going to be totally in your comfort zone. But for me, it is slightly bigger and slightly heavier than what I guess I like, what I would carry with me. But yeah, with all my preferences aside, right, I would say that the Oknife Zilla is a knife that I am truly surprised with. This actually doesn't feel all that big, but the sheer size of this part here, the amount of blade you'll be getting for this particular knife, definitely adds some heft to it, and I'm really honestly surprised at how well Oknife pulled the Zilla off. Now before I move on to the most important aspect, which is the price point and my verdict of the Oknife Zilla, let's give you guys a quick size comparison. And you guys already saw the Zilla next to a Para 3. Then we've got the Civivi Elementum, and I've got a Damn Designs Wraith. Now let me put the Elementum aside because you guys already saw a slightly smaller knife profile. We have, of course, the Olight Splint or the Oknife Splint, and I've got the QSP Penguin. So yeah, clearly guys, you could tell that out of all the knives that I've put on the table so far, the largest knife, very obviously, is the Zilla. But what's interesting is that in its closed form, when you fold it up and close it, the Zilla isn't all that tall, right, or long, like if you compare it to the Wraith here, right? But of course, in terms of width, this thing is a beast. This thing is yeah, it's chonky, it's chonky. Okay, let's talk about price point, guys. Right now, the Oknife Zilla is being offered in this green G10. I don't know if Oknife or Olight has any plans to release Zillas in other colorways, but right now it is being or going to be offered. I think by the time you guys see this video, it should be already being offered on the Olight web store. But the Zilla right now is being offered in this particular green G10, and it is coming in at a price point of $119.95 Singapore dollars. That's the MSRP, and that roughly translates to $84.95 in US dollars. But guys, there always is a but. You can get the Oknife Zilla at a 20% discount during the 15th anniversary sales, guys. 20% discount. That puts it at the under 100 Singapore dollar price range. That's $95.96 Singapore dollars. And that translates to $67.96 US dollars, which means it is a under $70 knife, guys. And if you've been looking at the market in terms of 154cm steel knife offerings, even if you look at, say, for example, a brand like Civivi that is well known, they produce really good, solid budget line knives, but their 154cm steel offering knives are all in the $70 US dollar range at least. And don't forget that at that price point, you're gonna get a 3.5-inch blade. This is also limited edition. You've got G10 scales, very well done scales, and weighing in at about 5.35 ounces, guys, for this fit and finish, deep carry pocket clip, reversible as well. Guys, for that price point, I think this is really good value for money in my opinion. My verdict is, even though I'm not a fan of the size of the Zilla because it is not in my preferred size range or my weight range, and because of my personal preferences, this is not a knife that I would EDC on me in my pocket every single day. This is a knife that I will definitely be happy to recommend to anyone if you're interested in a knife design like this, a knife style like this, especially at that price point. So yes, I would recommend the Oknife Zilla. If you like the design and aesthetics of it, go for it. If you're a fan of 154cm steel, go for it. If you're looking for a larger size knife that you've never tried before, go for it. If you're looking for possibly a good food prep knife, go for it. I'm not gonna geek out. I mean, of course, I already have geeked out about the steel by myself on my own outside of this video in my own free time. But if you guys already know about 154cm steel, that's good. If you don't, then do yourself a favor, just Google it and read up about the properties of 154cm steel. You will not be disappointed. Yep, and that's it, guys. This wraps up all my thoughts on the Oknife Zilla. That is it, everyone. Thank you so much for sticking all the way throughout and sharing in this side of my life. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that this was informative to you. And maybe if you were thinking about getting the Zilla for yourself, then hopefully this video provides you with more information to help you make a better decision. If you've been watching to this point of the video, I would assume that you've been enjoying this video so far, so I hope that you will give me a thumbs up if you did. And if you're new to the channel, hello there. I hope that you will consider subscribing. But if I did not earn your sub today, that's okay. I promise I will continue working on the quality of my content, and hopefully one day I will earn that sub. Another great way to support the channel is over on Patreon. I'll put a link up there in case you want to check it out. We have Patreon exclusive content as well as Patreon exclusive giveaways from time to time. So if you do become a patron of mine, thank you so much in advance. It really means a lot to me. Now, there's one thing that I'd like to show, and this is of course because of Gman. Yeah, thanks Gman for the constant support. But one thing that Gman really likes to find out is whether or not knives with flipper tabs can be deployed in more than one way, and we're talking about the upside down method. So let's just show it to Gman here. I'm gonna hold the knife this way because gravity is pointing downwards. If I hold it sideways, then yeah, it's kind of cheating like that. But let's just do this for Gman, okay? With my middle finger, deploying the Zilla is definitely not a problem, and I could even deploy it with my fourth finger, And let's go for the pinky finger test. This is gonna take a bit of effort because the detent is quite strong. I mean, not the strongest that I've experienced so far, but it is quite strong. I just need to make sure that I have my grip correct. And let's just try for it. Really commit to it, and there we go. So yes, you can definitely deploy it in the upside down manner, Gman. Hopefully this brings a smile to you. And with that, we've come to the end of this video. Once again, a huge shout out to Olight for sending this my way, allowing me to spend time with it and gathering my thoughts before I share this video with everyone else. And hopefully this video will be released in time to coincide with the Olight 15th anniversary sale. Once again, Olight, congratulations for your 15th anniversary. That is not an easy feat to pull off. Finally, I will say this again, guys, if you're interested at all, links are all in the description box down below. Thank you in advance for your support by using my affiliate link. And I totally forgot to mention to you guys, but there is a coupon code, and my coupon code is BENCO. If you use my coupon code upon checkout, you'll be entitled to 10% off any regular price items at any time. And lastly, stay tuned for the unboxing of this very cool looking ancient bamboo limited edition i3T Plus. Not your regular i3T, guys, it's the i3T Plus. That's it, I promise, no more teasing you guys. Thanks again, everyone. I'll catch all of you in my next slice. Bye.